Hey geeks, I'm Trey Guillotine and you're watching Geekly Trends, where I give a few thoughts about some of the geeky trends that have happened in the past week. We finally have a new trailer for Red Dead Redemption 2, and that's going to be our Geekly Trend. So I did my best to look around and try to find some trending geeky news stories to talk about for this video, and I had trouble finding some. Not that nothing happened over the last week, it's just a lot of the stuff that happened, a lot of my reactions were just kind of like, okay, and I didn't really have anything else to say about it, which actually might be a good thing because there was one really big thing that happened this week, and that was a release of the second trailer for Red Dead Redemption 2. This trailer is a very big deal, in my opinion, as Red Dead Redemption 2 is one of the most anticipated games because Red Dead Redemption 1 was such a good game. It had such a strong story and such a great ending to it, and I don't want to spoil it for you. I know it's been a good many years since the game came out, but if you're watching this because you haven't played Red Dead Redemption and you want to try to get into the game before Red Dead Redemption 2, I don't want to spoil what the ending is, but holy crap, such a good game, such a great game. I really have I can't think of any complaints that I would have for the first Red Dead Redemption. Rockstar really knocked it out of the park on that one. But the first thing I noticed about this new Red Dead Redemption trailer is just how beautiful it looks. And that's really saying something because I feel in 2017, game developers are at the point where every game that comes out looks great. Even if things don't look perfect, the games look good. They're very shiny, they're very aesthetically pleasing, they look really cool. All of the games, even when they're kind of a stylized kind of art, they all just look fantastic. So to really say that this game looks beautiful is saying something. I think the last time I said that this game really looks beautiful compared to most games of that year was for Witcher 3. Actually, no. The last time I said that was actually recently when I was playing Fallout 4. Now, no, vanilla Fallout 4 doesn't look that great, but I did find a mod that actually adds in seasons into the game, so when I was playing it, the trees were a lot more alive, there was a lot more green. It was still very, post-apocalyptic, irradiated wasteland, but it just looked beautiful. So kudos to whoever made that mod. I love it. It looks beautiful, and it really, when I was playing it with the mod for the first time, I really sat back and I was like, holy crap, this looks amazing. So just in my opinion, to say that a game looks amazing is really saying something at this point when most games that come out look fantastic. Now, the trailer did give us a tease of what the story might be like in Red Dead Redemption 2, and it looks like the protagonist is a man named Morgan. And most of the trailer focuses on him collecting money from people who owe money to his gang. So it looks like he's a kind of muscle for this gang, and you actually find out at the end that the gang he's a part of is Dutch's gang. Dutch, who becomes one of the main antagonists in Red Dead Redemption, when John Marston is hunting down the old members of his gang. So this does confirm is going to be a prequel and is going to focus on Dutch's gang. Now, in Red Dead Redemption, from just what John Marston says and what he tells other people, hear a little bit of the history of that gang. That it was a very strong gang, that Dutch was a very influential leader, and that he made you want to follow him, and that they were kind of Robin Hood-esque characters. They stole from the rich and gave to the poor. They were, they were more of a good guy gang than a bad guy gang, or that's what he said. That was his impression of his actions when he was in that gang. But then at some point, Dutch started to go mad, as he says. We don't know in what way he went mad, but something changed in Dutch that kind of led to the gang's downfall, getting most, if not all of them, killed, aside from the few remaining members that you hunt down in Red Dead Redemption. So I wonder if we're going to actually see those events, the specific events that John Marston kind of vaguely talks about in the first Red Dead Redemption, if we're going to see those events take place, if we're going to see what Dutch was like before he went mad, what he was like after, and what the events were that led to the gang's downfall. Or is this game going to be a very isolated incident or isolated story that doesn't really show much of what we learned about in Red Dead Redemption? If this is, maybe at the beginning of the game when the gang was first thriving and Dutch was a more influential and strong leader, or maybe the character of Morgan is one of the things that leads to the gang's downfall. Maybe Morgan finds something out about Dutch, or something changes in Morgan that then influences Dutch as as it looks like Morgan and Dutch have a very trusting relationship. Something's going to happen between them that'll kind of change Dutch and lead to the gang's downfall. Now, as far as a timeline, all we really know about this game is that it takes place before the events of Red Dead Redemption, but we don't know exactly when. It's very likely that it could take place after Dutch has already changed, after the gang's already kind of falling, and after John Marston leaves the gang, and we see kind of what happens between when John Marston leaves the gang to basically the end of Dutch in Red Dead Redemption. Or we may very well see John Marston a part of the gang and see what he was like before he left. It seems very obvious in Red Dead Redemption that John Marston sees himself as a very different man in the events in Red Dead Redemption as he was in the gang. So it seems that Dutch isn't the only person that changed in the gang, but so did John Marston when he left. Or we may see the very beginning of the game before John Marston had even joined. There's a huge span of time that this game could be taking place, but knowing Rockstar's track record and how they've handled Grand Theft Auto, it's very likely that we're going to see John Marston and probably other returning characters from Red Dead Redemption. In Grand Theft Auto, Rockstar almost always puts in a character from a past game, or cameos, or just mentions of characters and events from past games into their recent game. They did it a lot in Grand Theft Auto Vice City and Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. They had some different allusions to, like, Grand Theft Auto 3 in Grand Theft Auto 4, and then they do have a lot of mentions of past things in Grand Theft Auto 5, as well as the returning character of Packy, who was a big character in Grand Theft Auto 4. So knowing this, I think it's very likely that John Marston will be at least a cameo character in this upcoming game. I am so excited for this game because Red Dead Redemption, the first Red Dead Redemption was such a unique and strong game. Not that there aren't other games that take place in the Wild West, but this game just did it so well. It really gave you the kind of experience of living in the Wild West. It wasn't the over-glamorized John Wayne movies. It was more like Deadwood, where it's very ugly, it's very gritty, it's very dirty, and it really kind of simulated to the best that they could what that would be like in this game, and it really felt like you were a character in this game, in this world. I'm usually a big fan of Rockstar's games. I've liked the Grand Theft Auto series. Grand Theft Auto 5 is still one of my favorite games to play. I've replayed Red Dead Redemption recently, and I kind of want to play it again now that after seeing this trailer, just to kind of have it fresh in my mind. But I'm so excited for this game. I think Rockstar is just what we've seen of this trailer already, just this one trailer, and the trailer beforehand, which was really just like shots of scenery and cowboy stuff. It looks so good. I'm really curious about the character of Morgan, if this is going to be what kind of John Marston thought of the game, that it was kind of a Robin Hood gang stealing from the rich and giving to the poor, or if Morgan and the gang are going to be just straight up bad guys, and maybe that'll be part of the story where Morgan maybe decides to not be a bad guy and starts going against the gang, maybe with John Marston. I don't know. There's a lot of possibilities for this game, and the trailer only gives us so much information. But just based on this trailer and based on knowing the quality of games that Rockstar does, I'm so excited for this game. When you're planning your next Wizard World Comic-Con experience, make sure to use the discount code GuillotineGeek to get 10% off your ticket purchase online, and use those savings to buy some merch or meet a celebrity. What do you think about this week's One Geekly Trend? Let me know in the comments, and let me know if there were any other Geekly Trends you found that you would like to talk about. Let me know in the comments, and follow me on all the internets. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and share it so others can join in the conversation. If you want to check out my written content, you can go to guillotinegeek.blogspot.com. If you want to support some of my future content, you can go to my Patreon, and you can subscribe to my channel to geek out some more. Thanks for watching, and have fun. So Captain America, Thor, Hulk.